Did you record?
No, not yet.
Baby, right? The podcast is our baby.
Well,
right?
the movie's your baby.
Yeah, this topic is yours.
That is true. Yeah, you're right. Because I guess Omar will be getting the next one when we watch Giant Monsters 8, right? Welcome back to the Targeted Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 18, and if you can't tell by my wardrobe choices this evening, we'll be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. Very excited for this movie. For once, the fans speaking out got something that they wanted. I think this is a real big moment for fans everywhere, for one. And number two, I mean, it finally, it's not totally out of my memory yet, but it kind of erased some of the shit stain that was Joss Whedon's version of Justice League out of my mind. So,
Oh my God.
But I'm not gonna lie to like it wasn't. I watched it like this past Saturday. I started like 10:30, right? I had to wait till everybody went to bed so I could actually watch it and not be bothered. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's
it's
nighttime here. Yeah. My time. So 4 hours later, and I was like, this is good. It's way better than the other one for at least like is it a superhero classic in my mind? No. But I definitely think it was a real good movie, and the fact that he broke it up kind of like into episodes, I thought that was very smart.
Yes.
And it made it a much more watchable film.
Yes.
And at first I wasn't too sure, because when the movie opened, you had like the longest scream of all time, right?
Yeah.
So when you did that,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? But then it was like 5 minutes later.
8 minutes later.
Yeah.
Bro, I get it. He woke him up. Just yes. Oh God. Right. But before he goes in on the amount of slow motion in this movie, okay? I do have one metric.
We're gonna put Zahid last.
And that is that this entire movie, 4-hour movie, 24 minutes of it was slow-mo. Not 2 hours, Zahid. 24 minutes, 5 seconds. Okay?
Are you sure? What metric is that? I mean, call this metric again. It felt like 2 hours.
Right. Okay. I just want to let you know.
God.
But that's all right, because you're not going to talk next. It's going to be Omar.
This is fine.
All right, so just gonna share my thoughts about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So funny thing is, kind of like what you said, Nicholas, when I started watching this, I didn't really even remember what even happened in the first one, to tell you the truth. So I think that really helped me with my experience watching this version. And if anyone's been watching our podcasts, you'll know how much I've been hating on Nicholas about
both
DC
of them
movies.
Both of y'all.
He's a little bit more neutral than I am.
Not
but
Whatever.
I would say he's a little bit more neutral than I am.
I would say.
But so if I'd like to think of it like, if I enjoyed the movie, then I think that says something. And the way I saw it is that, Nicholas and I think Sahid, you took a few stabs at, doing some video editing as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Nicholas and I have been doing it, a lot. And when you do it from that perspective, when you look at it from that perspective and you're working with like raw footage, you're always doing multiple versions of edits, or usually, right? So Zack Snyder's version, I understood it like it wasn't meant to be brought onto the big screen as is. Mm-hmm. And I think you could see that there was a lot of like Nicholas said, when the movie started, there was that really long, yelling and shouting or whatever. And I think, like that in my mind, I didn't think too much of it because I was thinking, well, he put it like that so that when, they take it to like their partners or whoever else, they can decide which parts of that they want to keep, not keep the whole entire thing. And keeping that in my mind as I watched the whole movie, it didn't even bother me, at a lot of the long drawn out scenes. I was tempted to fast forward a few times, but I held myself back.
Wow. Seriously?
Yeah.
That's telling.
I held myself back.
That's telling.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like I'm looking at it from a different lens, right? I'm not looking at it like a fully finished movie. And the reason that I really enjoyed it is because, okay, yes, a movie should not be 4 hours or more long, right? I'm South Asian. We're known for 3 hour plus long movies, all right? And even that was too long for me. Like I stopped watching them probably in the 90s. I just can't do it. So 4 hours, but again, it's, going in, like I was mentally prepared. I knew it was going to be that long, but I did not feel like it was a 4 hour movie by the time I finished. I watched it in one day and it felt like a 2 hour movie to me. Like that's how much I enjoyed it. But it was the episode, man. Yeah, I think exactly. It was the episode. The story was a lot better. It really did not feel like they were trying to copy off Marvel, which I thought for me was the most impressive thing, that they finally had their own feel to it. It was darker. It wasn't as, there wasn't as much humor in it like you see in a lot of like Marvel movies. So I liked that Zack Snyder really tried his own way to do it, his own approach. And then it also shows the disparity between Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers cut out so much critical information from that. And so now what's, in my mind, Nicholas, I don't want to say you won the debate because I can't remember if it was used for Zack Snyder, because I vaguely remember all of us talking crap about Zack Snyder in the past. But then I think recently you guys started talking about the difference I learned about through you guys about Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers and the whole conflict.
Yes.
Different accounts from different actors and stuff. So I'll side with both of you guys on that. I am going to take back anything bad I've said about Zack Snyder because of this movie in the past. I will say that he did a good job. I think the editing to fit it down into even a 2.5 hour movie could have been done significantly better than what was given to us in 2017. So that's
honestly, I think that if they have let him have this movie and broken it into like an Infinity War / Endgame type deal, a double feature type deal.
How do you think of that?
I mean, then they're winning. Yeah. Right.
That would have been better. Yeah. That definitely.
Yeah. So my whole thing, and just real quick, so like my whole thing about Zack Snyder is I like his style, but my thing was if you give him free reign over the story, then you're in trouble because it won't always be as cohesive as it should be.
Yeah. Okay.
But you can go ahead.
All right. Oh, this is my turn. You guys ready for this?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Hold your breath. All right. So let's start with the good.
Cancel him. Cancel. Cancel.
Just for the record.
Just mute him.
For the record, for everyone for the two people that's watching out there, I do want to say I was reluctant to come on because I watched this movie in 2 parts, right? And I was definitely reluctant to come on, and I was like, look, I don't feel the way about this movie like these guys feel about this movie, and I don't want to be like the hater, right? Like I don't like. Thank you, Nicholas. I saw that. I mean, I always speak my own mind. I tend to be the black sheep of a group, and I get made fun of and all that stuff, whatever. But like I definitely didn't want to take that moment, like you guys, like from you guys. So I was like, man, I don't know if I should like come on tonight. I didn't watch.
I think you'd be better off saying the white sheep with this audience.
Nice.
I'm just saying.
That has a couple of tones on it. It has a couple of undertones with that, but we're just gonna move along.
What's in your cup? What's in your cup, Omar? And how many have you had?
Coffee. What are you talking about?
Speaking of Mitch, man, I forgot to get my second, like my mystery drink too. So, so, I will say this. Is it the worst movie ever? No. It's
Oh,
not the
Lord.
worst movie ever. I would have liked the movie better. I would have liked the movie better if I didn't see the first movie. And Omar, you actually made a good point. Like yesterday when we were talking about this as the director's cut, right? So through the lens of just Zack Snyder just wanting to put everything that he wants out there, right? And it being an actual, so it's a weird space because the director's cut, like usually a director's cut is the superset of like the original cut, right? But the original cut isn't his cut, so it's
exactly.
It's interesting. I would say it's much better than the first movie. It made sense, right? So just talking about the good things, it made sense. The pacing is better in the movie, but if it's 4 hours, then fucking the pacing better be good. Like, so you got to get that right. I do like the idea that I was in pieces. So yeah, did I fall in love with this movie? No, I'm sorry, I just didn't. I made the joke with Nicholas earlier to before the typical Zack Snyder movie. It's gonna be 2 hours worth of
24 minutes.
Slow-mo. Huh? 10% of the movie
24 minutes.
10% of the movie was slow-mo, right? Which is a lot for a 4-hour movie, right? So I just Googled it, by the way. 2 hours of slow-mo. Someone's gonna sit there and yell no, like get on the knees and like no, because that happened twice.
That's like I said. That's every superhero movie.
That's like every superhero movie.
Thank you.
Not really.
It has legit been like every single superhero movie.
Yes.
That's every Zack Snyder movie for sure. And is it in a lot of superhero movies? Yes, but not in everyone. And of course, someone's gonna get their head cut off because that's in every Zack Snyder film. Someone's gonna get their head snapped or cut off.
You have to think about what movies the man made.
Okay.
300.
So
yes, somebody's getting their head cut off,
let me
right?
finish my review. Nicholas. I didn't interrupt you. Let me finish mine. Let me get mine.
Wonder Woman uses a sword, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's getting cut up. Yes, that makes total sense.
Well, you did see it in Wonder Woman's movies. So, but I will say this. I understand why people like this movie. And number one, I'm actually happy for Zack Snyder. Because as much as I like to take a dump on Zack Snyder and like his movie style, it's not like Warner Brothers can make a better movie, right? They've proven that they really can. Yeah. So, right. I will tell you my problem with Zack Snyder's style of movies, right? And he does it more from an emotional standpoint, not a logical one. And then he tries to make it more grounded and gritty and like emotional. I never buy it. So, do you remember the beginning of this movie, right? The bank scene, right? With Wonder Woman, right? They were trying to destroy the bank. I try to compare like all these movies to like the Dark Knight movie with Christopher Nolan, and maybe that's an unfair comparison. Like maybe it's my bias. That's my fault. That I shouldn't be doing that. But like, here's the problem with those. Like that movie became with the bank scene too, right? The difference between these two movies is that bank scene in the not the Zack Snyder movie, but the Christopher Nolan movie had some sort of cause and effect to it, right? That played a role in the other parts of that film, right? So that bank scene caused the mobs to come together, which gave us that Joker scene, which caused them to call Joker to kind of kill Batman. So they build off each other. Like the scene here, like Zack Snyder clearly kind of wants to have this like that Wonder Woman moment to show her powers and just kind of have that cool moment. And it wasn't bad, it just didn't make like I know what Wonder Woman can do. So that's part of like the bloat of that scene. And again, like I said, I would have probably enjoyed this movie much better if I didn't see the first one, right? Like because I saw a lot of the scene in the first one. But yeah, there are a lot of little nitpicky things I can talk about too, like Iris West like not talking at all.
Wait, who is that?
Exactly. Or you didn't know who Iris West is. Iris West was the black chick in the in the dog store that was leaving the dog store when Barry Allen was going to apply for a job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What's so special about her?
Wife, right?
That's Barry Allen's love interest.
Yeah, that's Barry Allen's love interest, who's usually white, by the way. I will say this too, and credit to.
No, I didn't need her to be introduced like that though. Like it's not to get like every person's like backstory. Just like when we went to Atlantis, everybody wasn't like introduced like, hey, my name is blah blah blah.
Yeah, but do you see the problem with that though, right? Like if the movie, like, and again, this is the director's cut, right? So if they had an Endgame, right, they didn't have to introduce like Captain America or Scarlet Witch or any other characters or Shuri or anyone, because we knew them in previous movies. I knew nothing about her, right? Omar knew nothing about her, right? So you don't know who she is. You got like no like no time to actually understand where she comes from. Again, it's a director's cut, right? So through that lens, it is what it is. But like those are kind of like my problems with the movie. But again, I'm happy with Zack Snyder. I mean, it's better than what Warner Brothers would have done anyway. So, one part I did like about the movie. I liked there were a couple things I really did like about the movie. So, there's a scene with with Flash where he was like pushing the rocks out of people's way. And it showed the little
that was dope.
Doing that. I thought that was like really cool. I was like, that's a pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, that's pretty dope. They showed this in the first movie. I thought this was probably the best scene ever, where Flash starts running, and then Superman's like tracking Flash.
Yep. I was waiting to say that.
That was in the first movie, but that's still a dope scene.
His face,
Flash's
awesome. Face was hilarious.
It
was. So I did want to say one thing about that movie, that scene in the movie though. So in the end, like as he's fighting Superman, he knocks him down. And the Flash like puts his hands up, and it looks like he's just trying to protect himself, right? But later in the movie, when he's like running around trying to get enough energy to do whatever, and he puts his hands up again, and it I don't know, it like causes him to like be able to phase or use some other part of his power. So I thought that was an interesting call. Like it reminded me of that scene when I saw that later in the movie. It was like maybe he was getting ready to use some new ability against Superman just in case he had to by putting his hand back up.
Well, it sounds like he can reverse time when he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I just watched this like less than 30 minutes ago. So it sounds like he can just reverse time, and I'm gonna kind of, and they do this in Doctor Strange too. Like the guy, he plays with time with no real consequences, right? Like if you can reverse time, then there's no problem. Right, at all. So but again, like I thought that was a pretty good movie in that aspect. Zack Snyder, like I'm happy he had his opportunity to tell his vision. I thought
to clear his name.
Yeah, well, I thought it made sense, at least.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in love with this movie. Just some of the dialogue and just the bloatedness just took it away from me. And again, probably if I didn't watch the first movie, like I probably would have liked this a lot better, because like I saw a lot of it already. But at the same time, I mean, I liked some of the Amazon scenes where she was like, "Show them your fear. We have no fear." I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, there are moments I liked about the movie. So
I did like how they I feel like they redeemed Steppenwolf a little bit too. So like
a little bit.
Like in the first movie, it was like he was just kind of just there.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was like he was trying to, and that reminds me of like one of my favorite scenes was like in the near beginning where they were going back and looking at like what happened in the first battle. Mm-hmm. Way better this time around, and especially since they extended it a little bit, right? He had Darkseid there, but then you understand why Steppenwolf is here. Like he's trying to get back into Darkseid's good graces. Yeah. He disappointed them around the first time or whatnot. So, I thought they redeemed him a lot. And I think I like this design a little bit better too, especially with the armor, like doing all that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I got a question. And Sidra asked me this too. I didn't think about this before, but what happened to like the old gods from that scene when they talked about when Darkseid originally attacked Earth.
The old gods.
I remember
right?
in Wonder Woman, Ares killed them all.
Yeah, there's Zeus. By the
Yeah.
way, Ares was in that movie. I didn't really see him. I saw.
What?
I saw Artemis, like the arrow shooter, but I didn't see Ares. So,
Ares is the guy that wounded Darkseid, hit him in the shoulder with that axe.
I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah. He was doing it.
So here's what I think the Warner Brothers was trying to do, right? I think they with their original, not their original cut, but like Josh Brolин's cut, they were trying to not show Darkseid as the big bad so they can bring him on later, right? That's why I think they took away a lot of his scenes. Like, so that's why
I don't know, man.
That's why I think Warner Brothers did that. Now,
well, at the end of the Whedon cut, though, they made like no real allusions to Darkseid. Really, he said his name like once.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it kind of teased the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, well,
So it was like,
that's what they did. So at the end of Justice League, was it Justice League or something like he's coming or this is some of the stars and I don't know. Yeah, I think they're trying to hold back Darkseid.
What's the Legion of Doom?
Do you think Darkseid kind of went out like a little biatch, like when they first fought like the new gods? Like Darkseid's supposed to be tougher than that, right? Right?
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing though, because somebody else said that online, right? Where this guy was like, yeah, he got hit and then like he ran away.
It was like,
so, but it was like there's different pantheons of gods, right? At least, you know what I mean? You have the Greek gods, you have like,
yeah,
and then you have like the new gods with Darkseid in them and all that stuff. So they're all like gods, right? So I feel like, you know, him getting hurt like that by another so-called god, like it was like, okay, like I can see that, you know what I mean? But
yeah, that's how I understood it. Because you're talking about like Odin and Hermes or Artemis or whoever, and looked like Poseidon and, you know, these other actual like gods. So for me, I thought that was, you know, they were playing on the same, you know, no pun intended, same battlefield.
Yeah.
Or playing field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So I just want to add in, I wanted to, sorry.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought what was really cool when you're talking about when Flash was running around Superman, you know, and Superman's like,
yeah.
And then you saw Flash's face like,
I like that.
That wasn't the first movie though, but
it was.
But it was good.
But
it was a good scene.
I thought the build up to that scene in this was done so much better, and it gave me like, it really put into perspective how strong Superman really is. I'm gonna be honest. I loved watching, you know, like Chris Reeves as Superman growing up. I loved Superman in general, whether it's Chris Reeves or not growing up. But as I got older, I was like, he's boring as hell. He's really boring. He just wears like a retarded looking, you know, bright blue cape. I mean, like we're talking about late 90s, mid to late 90s and stuff. And, you know, like that design is still like, you know, 3 decades old and still rocking the same thing. And, you know, people for some reason can't tell who he is by just putting on eyeglasses, you know, and it's just, you know, I mean, I always thought his character was just boring. You know, his abilities were he was just too strong, whatever. But I thought that they did a really good job showing the disparity in power between him and, you know, these other superheroes, you know, who are also like really tough. I mean, you had, you know, Aquaman and Wonder Woman, you know, and I actually never really knew I never knew much about Cyborg. I'll put it that way before, you know, Flash, and then what is his name? Cyborg? I forget his.
Cyborg.
Yeah, Cyborg. Yeah.
Yeah. But then putting in Superman against all of them was just like, they're nothing. And you know what that reminded me of was the last episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that reminded me of. And I was like, for me, that was my favorite part of the whole movie. when they're all trying their best to take him down, and he's just like brushing them off like ants.
Yeah, he's OP. He's OP.
Yeah, he's OP. Exactly.
Yeah,
he is.
I mean,
he is like the
especially-
literal god there.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in this movie though, like he was like way over like Wonder Woman is supposed to be like a really good match for him. Like if you go back and read, there was a story arc where like Maxwell Lord did some mind control over Superman or whatever and made him think that Wonder Woman was actually Doomsday. So he's like going all out. And I mean, they were really like going at each other, and she ended up like slicing his throat open.
Damn.
So it was like when I see this in the movie, and then they're all like getting swatted aside like ants. I was like, dang, like they really overpowered that guy. But
yeah,
okay.
I think he's overpowered, and that's kind of the thing with Superman. That's tough with Superman because you can't underpower him. If you take away some of his powers, then we'll talk about this later. Toxic fandom will get really upset, right?
Coming up in less than 3 minutes.
Huh? Yeah,
I said coming up in less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, so, not to jump the curve, but yeah, that's what tends to happen. Omar, you haven't watched the Justice League cartoon yet, the animated series? You should. I will watch Rebels if you watch Justice League animated series.
Deal.
It's really good.
I'll do it, but I'll wait for you to start Rebels first.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll take Sahid way longer.
Yeah.
Somehow.
It probably will.
I won't get into that.
Probably will.
Before we leave the subject of the movie real quick, I did want to get into some stuff that they were talking about, like what would have happened in the next storyline. Because one of the big treats for me as far as watching the Snyder Cut was concerned was all the stuff that he added or expanded at the end that were kind of these loose storylines that he was going to tie up in future movies. One being, Batman's truce with the Joker. I thought that scene was epic. And then there's the fact that like Lois was pregnant with Superman's kid, and they were going to make the kid be like the next Batman. You have Batman sacrificing himself to save Lois. So there's like a whole bunch of interesting stuff that they were going to have happen.
Oh, well, I would say this, like the end of the movie, the epilogue, right? Especially that the evil Superman.
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, let's talk Martian Manhunter later too.
DC has the stupidest hero names. I'm sorry. I don't follow it. So when I heard that, I was like, come on, get the heck out of here.
Okay.
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, man.
Well,
you don't have to hate on DC a little bit.
I will say this: the way
we can go through Marvel's list of heroes, and I can point out plenty of stupid names. Believe me.
Come on, Martian Manhunter. Oh, Lord.
Wait, see.
I don't know who that is, by the way.
I'm just saying Marvel has a guy that shoots arrows that, Hawkeye. So there are a couple bad names. There are a couple bad names in Marvel. But we can talk Martian Manhunter. You notice what they're doing with that, right? They're doing the Injustice League type thing. You remember, the Injustice League storyline, kind of at least the one they made a game about, where Superman and Lois gets killed, or Lois gets killed, Superman turns evil. So that I recognize that. I honestly didn't care for the Joker scene because I just didn't understand why he was there. Maybe.
Thank you. I didn't. I didn't either.
Maybe I'm going to try to give some credit here. Maybe it's because of the alternate timeline that Joker can somehow needs to be there to fix it or something. I don't know. So it's meant to kind of be.
No, the point is that he got that desperate that he had to enlist whoever he could find to help him.
How was Joker gonna help at all? Especially when
you don't know. I mean, that's the point though. That's why it's
unless it's something that I'm missing, right? There's no point in bringing on someone.
So the two questions that were just asked were exactly in the same order the questions I had when I was watching that scene is, why is Joker there? Okay, Batman's desperate for help, but what the hell can Joker even do?
Yeah, like what is he there for? Unless it's some timeline thing that he needs to like change with Joker, which again I don't know. I think the purpose of the scene is to ask more questions, right? So I think that's the point of that whole scene. Do we have somebody? Oh,
Here we go, our favorite fan.
there she is. Come take your dad's place.
She can't hear you. I'm wearing earphones.
Come take your dad's place.
Okay,
Oh, hey.
Good night.
It seemed like she could hear us because she was doing that fake laugh right on time.
Yeah. No. Aww. She's a beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. She'll be 6 in just a couple months. Little
You
sisters
go.
do around the same time.
Man, it's crazy. Well, it sounds like us actually, because my kids are like 3 days apart.
Oh, damn! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really? And birthdays?
Yeah.
Yikes. I
Yeah,
felt like
man.
that one growing up as they get older.
So we have someone commented, have a Joker fan. He's the Joker, epic villain.
There you have it.
I mean, yeah, he's the epic villain. Don't you think the epic guy should have had more screen time though?
Well, his time was in Suicide Squad. I can always talk about how they.
Oh, but his Suicide Squad team sucked. Oh my god, I hated that movie.
Yeah, it did.
They undermined him like so much in that movie. But
wasted opportunity. Wasted.
Yeah,
it
was.
It was a waste of Jared Leto. Is what it was. But
yeah.
Let me guys ask you a couple questions. I want to ask you guys 2 questions. One, Martian Manhunter. How do you feel about Martian Manhunter pretending to be Clark Kent's mom for a couple minutes?
So I don't know anything about this guy or what his motives are, so I'll
it didn't make sense to me. But like Martian Manhunter, again, you should really watch the first, like the Justice League animated series. It's a great series. It'll give you a lot of insight on Martian Manhunter, especially the first first 4 episodes.
But you can go back to BVS. So the Martian Manhunter in this movie series was General Swanwick or Lennox, or whatever his name was.
Or Swanwick, which is weird.
So it's like he's been on Earth for however long, just like watching people. He found a way to integrate himself into society, obviously, or whatever. But for me, like that scene where he was playing.
So what was his name? Sahid?
Martian Man. Who was playing Martha? Who was playing Martha? Martha.
See, I was about to say her name too. I was trying to just say.
Omar did it.
I thought it was touching, man, because it was just like he obviously like came to care about Lois after the first movie.
Yeah.
So he's watching her like be depressed, and not coming out and do what she's supposed to do. So he goes over there to try to inspire her. So
yeah,
I was cool with that.
Yeah, well, that's how Kong and Godzilla are going to unite against Mecha Godzilla next week. King Kong's going to be like Mothra, and Godzilla's going to be like, how do you know that name?
I thought we'd get through this without it. Okay.
Hey, next episode, that's what we're talking about.
Hey, Nicholas, we can say something like King Kong ain't got shit on me or something like that.
Believe me, I've been saving them up. Believe me.
Yeah, I do love you guys because I had to watch. I watched 4 hours of this for you guys essentially. But I mean, it wasn't.
Hey, that's right, man.
It wasn't.
I thought it was much better, man, and especially the way, like, after watching the first one and watching the way that this footage was cut or whatever, for lack of a better word, like the way that things were placed, it just made more sense. Like,
yeah, it did make more sense. It made me question a lot of the cuts that they did the initial movie. Like, again,
yes, exactly.
I could take a dump on Zack Snyder all day, and I have no problem with doing that. But like, it was what they did to him was unfair. It was totally unfair. There was a complaint about it too, that a lot of the people that were cut were the diversity characters. So a lot of those were cut. So you saw a lot of that there. Character. Like the Asian character there is supposed to be like the next Adam, I think.
Yes, Ryan Choi, I think.
Ryan Choi. He's the next. He's a superhero. He's supposed to be Adam, the guy that's supposed to be a master in nanotech, so he's a superhero. He's
Yep.
like Omar, just for you to understand. He's like
Ant-Man.
just like Ant-Man from
Yeah.
Marvel. That's the
So when you say Adam, you're not talking about like Black Adam.
no,
No,
not Black
it's
Adam.
the Atom. ATOM.
Yeah, because he
Oh,
can shrink
okay.
as small as
Okay.
an atom, right?
Yeah,
So
Okay.
yeah.
um,
So much fan service in the movie too, man. I
Yes.
really appreciated that type of stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of fan service. Yeah, I'm definitely happy to see more of the diversity characters have like their spot, like for what it's worth. Because
Yeah.
it seemed like a lot of
Yeah.
but
Cyborg and Flash were like their story arcs really like made the movie for me too. Like they gave
Yeah.
Cyborg like way more to do
yes,
and actually made me care about his character. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
Flash
Yep.
too. Like it was
yeah,
like
no,
sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, it actually Snyder's Cut probably would have made more sense because that would have been the opportunity to kind of introduce those characters right and more thoroughly. I think it's a huge ask to introduce both Cyborg and Flash, right? Like I said, we only saw like Iris West for like a second, not talking. But since we already saw Wonder Woman, we've seen like we didn't need a whole bunch of Wonder Woman scenes. We didn't need a whole bunch of like Superman scenes, which we didn't get because he was at the end of the movie, and we don't need a bunch of Batman scenes. So it's good to kind of see those other characters get built up. It's unfortunate you're not going to see Cyborg in another Justice League movie. I have no idea what they're going to do with this.
So I'm glad you brought that up because the
Yeah.
rumors are flying right now.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
they're talking about HBO Max wants to continue the Snyderverse, but Warner
Yeah.
Brothers doesn't.
Warner Brothers is like, no. Yep. I was
Yeah.
reading it the same thing.
Yeah,
Pretty
I mean,
stupid.
it just shows how
Pretty
much of a mess
stupid.
that series is. That studio
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
shows. how much
Yeah.
They're still doomed to fail. They are
um,
still doomed to fail.
Like-
That's the issue. So,
yeah,
but I did want to say though, I think like because I want to get into the next topic too, right?
yeah.
But
I do. Can I respond?
I want to make a
Lewis?
final.
Can I respond real quick to Lewis? So Lewis kind of commented again. Said the cuts from the original were all from Warner Brothers. They wanted a more funny movie like Ragnarok and Guardians. He's absolutely right.
Absolutely
Uh,
right.
So that's the problem with Warner Brothers. They're very reactive, right? They see like someone else do something and they try to
Yeah,
change
they
it.
keep trying to
Well,
copy
they were
off
following
Marvel.
the money.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
So that's what they
just
did
followed
with that's what they did with Suicide Squad, right? Where so Guardians of the
that was
Galaxy
their Guardians
came
of the
out,
Galaxy.
came out and had all the music tied to it, and Deadpool had like some of the like CGI intros. And if you look at the trailers for Suicide Squad, right? Two different trailers, two totally different like concepts, right? And apparently the
Yeah.
word on the street was they had a production company, like a CGI company, remake the movie. Because they're trying to just follow what they were doing. It just turned out to be just crap. So yeah, he's absolutely right there. So yeah, Warner Brothers, yeah, they're still a problem.
Yeah, so I was gonna say a lot of people have, obviously a lot of opinions on it, right?
Yeah.
But even like coming from, for example, Nicholas is gonna like it regardless because Nicholas just
Here we
likes
go.
anything that DC
Here we
puts
go.
out, right? So his
Here we
opinion doesn't
go.
really matter. Mine, I've always been like, I've always we're canceling Nicholas. So I think my
Between the lines,
opinion,
Omar.
I think my opinion and Saeed's matter more. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but for real though, I think all three of us are saying the same thing, right? We come from three different, three different perspectives. Nicholas is a DC fan. I have always been more of a Marvel fan growing up. I've enjoyed the Marvel movies more. Admittedly, I don't really know as much about like DC comics and stuff either. So I've been, I guess after was it Christian Bale? What was the director? They did that again.
Christopher Nolan.
Christian Bale. Christopher Nolan. Yeah. After that, I mean, it actually never even felt like it was like comic book stuff. It just felt like when Christopher Nolan was doing it, it just felt like it was just really good movies. But anyhow, and Saeed coming from the perspective of we almost had to like force him to come on tonight because he was like, guys,
just being.
I didn't really enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. It's just being a
His
hater.
perspective is just to be a hater.
No, I'm not gonna say that much. But he was like, guys, look, I'm not really enjoying it. I don't want to come on the show. and I don't want to diss it, and whatever. And we're
I
like,
don't
no,
wanna
man,
I didn't
no.
I didn't want to shit on anyone's parade. That's what I.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
I'm
So,
saying.
so
I
that's
didn't
what
wanna
he
shit
said.
on
But we're
anyone's
like,
parade.
no.
So he
come
prefers
on.
movies like The Notebook and more dramatic movies like that. So
Look,
I can understand if it doesn't tug at the heartstrings, right? Gotta tug at the heart.
The Notebook. Yeah. Look,
Oh
at the
my
end of
God.
the day, Saheed said something that's the most important thing about this, is that it was better than the original. You don't have to like it. I don't really care if you like it or not,
Yeah.
but just admit that it was way better than the original, because Warner Brothers, like, it needs to get out. The message needs to get out. And stop blaming Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Put him back in the picture. Let him do what he wants to do and give us the proper sequel
Yeah.
and make it 2 parts again.
Yeah, I will say this: you're not gonna get a movie of Nolan level. That's just for sure.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do it with Zack Snyder. And I mean, so I'm a DC fan too. I think the difference between me and Nicholas is that I take a much harder. Nicholas is the good parent, I'm the bad parent in this. If we had to explain it to
again,
Nicholas, it's okay. It's okay. It's bad. I'm the African, Asian.
The devil's advocate. He is the African devil's advocate.
I'm the African or Asian immigrant parent. If you come in with a B, he's like, well, you couldn't get an A, or you come in with an A minus, you couldn't get an A plus.
I'm so glad you said that.
What? Yeah.
What's going on? Why aren't you doing that?
Yes, you are.
That's definitely kind of how. That's our dichotomy here. That's our juxtaposition. I'm the guy that's like.
It's a perfect breakdown right there.
Yeah, you couldn't.
It is.
You're not as good as Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan did great. Why isn't this as good as that? So that's kind of how.
Yeah, because
Saheed
he is good.
Saheed is just AKA a toxic fan.
Don't put that on me.
There you go.
Do not put that on me.
Fan.
We're gonna let's talk toxic fans. Let's talk toxic fans. So,
toxic fandom. That was gonna be our second topic, Nicholas.
Yes. So yeah, go ahead, Nicholas. I haven't prepared at all for this topic, so
I haven't either. I don't know what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really plan for anything. I just wanted to bring it up. So for people out there who don't know, toxic fandom is basically when, like right now you have the DC Marvel, and you just have people on Marvel going hard at people in DC and just bullying them online and all this type of stuff.
Yeah, Saheed.
Or when fans have such strong feelings about something that they actually end up forcing, the actors that play some of the roles in our favorite movies to leave social media and just disown any relationship that they ever had with the character. I'll give you, Kelly Tran, and other folks like that who admittedly didn't have a great role in the movie when they should have, or Daisy Ridley, who played Ray, right? And people just going in on them and just being, just saying that they just need to retcon everything and boo, crying and all that stuff.
Happened a lot in Star Wars. Sorry to cut you off, but even in Episode 1, the kid that played Darth Vader as a kid, Anakin. God, I forget the little kid actor. But he was
talking about
Jake Lloyd or something.
Yes,
like
something like that. But I think it was after Episode 1. I think he grew up in Episode 2. After Episode 1, he was never in any other movie. He just vanished, and years later, he was growing up, and you find out he was just a mess. He was depressed, had mental issues or something. And don't quote me on that. I know he was struggling a lot, but he was that movie ruined his life. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the reason go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so a couple other you guys watch Game of Thrones? So the guy who played
No, what's that?
Nice. So the guy who played King Joffrey, same situation, right? Where
he played his role too good.
Yeah, so people who so Nicholas, to your point, toxic fandom, people who can't differentiate the characters from real life, or just can't so the Kelly it was a Tran. What's your first name?
Kelly Tran.
Kelly Tran.
I'm hoping I'm getting that right. I should probably look that
up. Yeah, but
more confidence.
But her, right? The fact that look, I wasn't a fan of her character in like in both of her movies. Well, the first movie, I wasn't a fan of her character in what was
The
it?
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi either. I'm not gonna go stalk her on like Instagram and like make her freaking like feel bad or undermine her about it. Like at the same time, it's like it's also not her fault. She's an actress doing her job.
She's playing the role that was written for her.
Yeah,
and it was just a crappy role.
Her job. Like, why are we? Yeah. It just shows just how.
Moral of the story is don't be so good at acting that people can't tell you're acting.
Well, no, that wasn't her case.
Well, I mean, that's their job.
No, I know.
But the reason why I bring all these examples up, right, about what true toxic fandom is because there are some who feel like what happened with the Snyder Cut and getting that off the ground, that was really the fans, signing petitions and pushing. They want to say that is toxic fandom, and there's a difference. Those fans, like me, right, who are able to do that, were able to do something. I feel like positive for as far as film and entertainment is concerned, right? They were able to say, hey, like you put out a crap product, we know you did. Superman's face looks like freaking putty on the screen. Some scenes or whatever, because you wanted to put in this 2-hour time frame and make a Marvel wannabe when you could have had a singular vision, make it right. And so, with enough pressure from the fans, then that happened. Like that to me is not toxic fandom. That to me is just people like, those are what fans are supposed to do, right? Yeah. Call studios out on their BS.
Yeah, right. A bunch of studios execs whining about fans is a joke to me. I mean, like there are examples of toxic fandom when it comes to like comic books, Star Wars, Star Trek, right? Those tend to be the most hostile of fans, right? Yeah. Especially Star Wars and Star Trek. But oh god, don't get me started on some of those guys. I'm about to offend some people right now. I don't care that Han Solo shot second. I'm sorry. I just don't.
That is, I never understood that. As a big Star Wars fan, I thought that was the stupidest thing ever.
I thought that was the dumbest debate ever.
Yeah. I was like, I can't believe he had him shot second in this one. He's like, he should have shot first. And the original shot first. I'm like, what? Yeah, don't care.
Imagine getting into a fight about that. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt.
Hey, I've had to avoid some fights after that. Yeah, no, I've definitely had to avoid some fights because of that. Because I just didn't care. Like all the edits for like the Star Wars scenes, people get crazy about it. But yeah, it's no. Again, Nicholas, I'm gonna just echo you and Omar too. Yeah, people got to get over it. These guys are doing a job. Again, I'll trash, I can make fun of Zack Snyder in his movies all the time. I'm not gonna undermine or go after his family, go after his Facebook. I'm not gonna belittle the guy, right? I actually empathize with the guy because he lost a daughter. He lost his daughter while making this movie, and I think Yeah. So that I don't know if you know the story, right? So what happened with the movie?
He committed suicide, right?
Yeah, his daughter committed suicide.
Oh my god!
So at the end of this movie, just now that I just watched, he dedicated this movie to Autumn, which I think was his daughter's name, right?
Oh, that's who that was.
So Omar, let me catch you up on the whole thing now. So Zack Snyder was making Justice League, right? He was battling back and forth with the Warner Brothers, right?
Yep.
His daughter passed away, right? And he just lost the will to want to fight with Warner Brothers, right? And Warner Brothers used that opportunity to bring in Josh Weldon and kick him off his project, which is so messed up. Like I said, it's just so unbelievably messed up. And like I said, I can make fun of Zack Snyder all day. That's effed up. I have a heart.
Yeah.
That sucks. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know all that. I never knew that. I would not have.
There's actually a shout out in the movie to it's an organization for suicide prevention too in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you catch it real quick, it's on a billboard or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So, but yeah, toxic fandom, man. No, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
People need
And
to
and,
work on
and
themselves.
even as I, even though I've been making some jokes about it here and there, I mean, it's a very real thing, and I can somewhat understand from a very, very small, microscopic amount, because, like, for example, like my sister was, my sister was a model, and she was she was Miss Pakistan in the past. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say much more. But she had a lot of haters, and being her brother and me being the only brother out of sisters, in a family of mostly women, actually, even with a lot of my cousins, I was always very protective of the women of my family, of my family in general. And so when, her and I, even though she's 2.5 years older than me, we're almost like twins. We think exactly alike. Till this day, we can finish each other's sentences. But my point is that when she was on billboards in Pakistan, in like the major cities, and so just to put it in perspective, like she was just really well known, and obviously there was a lot of not so nice comments online. And so my only point in saying this is that I understand that people that are celebrities are humans. Just because you become a celebrity does not mean like you were trained for that role your whole life, that now all of a sudden you're supposed to be a great role model for everyone. I'm not saying that my sister wasn't. She's always had a great heart, and anything, and everything. But it's a lot of people have a lot of unrealistic expectations of celebrities. They don't think that they're human. They just see them in movies, so they think that they're just slaves to entertainment, to entertain us. But everyone needs to understand that celebrities are humans. That just because you see something that you don't necessarily agree with doesn't mean that, number one, that's the whole picture, that's the whole story, and number two, that like that makes them good or bad. So we just need to remember, I think, that the big meaning behind this is that we're all human. Celebrities are just as human as we are.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah, no, great stuff.
yeah.
Well, and on that note,
Right.
It's a pretty powerful note. I can't follow that up.
But I don't know. I got no jokes. I joked enough, so I had to end off on a serious note.
Yeah, no.
That was good, man.
Yeah,
That was
no.
good.
This is the part where I make a fart sound or something.
Hold on, guys.
Well,
Is that still a thing?
I'm still hoping that we get a Batman and Deathstroke movie. I know it'll never happen, but I would love to see it, man.
I have no idea what DC is going to be doing. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful it'll be good, but I don't trust that studio.
Just let Disney buy them out.
Maybe.
Let Disney buy DC.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not interested in like Disney's version, like the all the way jokey, like
No,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, no,
like-
I don't want that at all.
like I do like that there is.
Hey, someone's agreeing with me. I'm just saying.
So, whatever. Like for example, Disney. There's a reason why you don't see the movie Logan on Disney, right? And Logan
Right.
is a great movie. It's
Wait, why?
really good movie, huh?
Why?
Because it's rated R. They're not gonna put that on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney doesn't do our stuff.
Yeah,
man.
they don't do R stuff. They are coming out with like a separate service for adults, though. So something.
I guess I thought Disney Plus was different.
No.
Okay.
Disney Plus is for like their Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, and kids movies, right? So they're not.
Honestly, I think the best thing about HBO Max is the fact that like all the DC stuff comes on there. I know it's going to come on there, and then all the other movies, Mortal Kombat,
Yep.
Giant Monsters 27.
Wait, Mortal
I can watch
Kombat's
it
going to
all
be
for
on
free.
there?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
But for Disney, if
So
you
is
have Disney
Godzilla.
Plus, that's why I said Giant Monsters 27. But Disney Plus, if something premieres on Disney Plus, you got to pay like another $30 for it. after you already have the subscription.
This is
Right,
kind of true.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want Disney to buy it all out.
That's so funny that you say that, because I think it looks like Black Widow is gonna come out on Disney Plus and in theaters at the same time. I don't know if it's gonna be.
They're going to charge you $30 for it.
I'm not sure if I'm
They're
going
gonna charge you
$30 for it either. Like, I like Black Widow too and ScarJo, but I'm already paying for Disney Plus.
I told my daughter, I was like, yeah, you want to watch Raya's Dragon, like the new, it was like the new kids movie.
Yeah.
And I was actually excited to see it too. And then I go to Disney Plus and it said like premiere access, $30-something 99. It's like, what? I was like, nah, we're gonna watch How to Train Your Dragon instead. I love you, baby. We'll watch another dragon. There's a dragon. There's a dragon right there. That's another dragon right there. Okay.
Just pull up Iguana on YouTube.
Yeah.
By the way, Raya and the Last Dragon, guess who's the lead character in that movie?
Kelly Tran.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Happy she was able to kind of bounce
Yeah,
off her
man.
feet a little bit there. But yeah. I don't know, Nicholas, are you ready to close us out?
Yeah, what are our topics next week again?
Next week, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we'll start looking into that series. I've already watched episode 1. If you haven't,
it was good.
I highly recommend it. The opening to that episode was amazing.
Yes.
As far as the choreography and everything was concerned. And then we'll also be talking to something near and dear to Omar's heart, since he is a professional. Let me stop. Since he is a car enthusiast.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
he's a polluter. Call Captain Planet. Call Captain Planet. There's our polluter right there.
Hey, my car runs off clean fuel, okay? Corn fuel.
That's not totally clean, but anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot cleaner.
Clean fuel. Clean.
It's not exactly good for your engine either.
Yeah.
No, it's a lot better for it.
Yeah.
But
like
anyway,
clean coal.
so we'll have a
thing.
Fast and Furious focused episode next week. So yeah.
Yep. Virginia Drift next week.
I do want to mention a little something of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There are some parts that I really liked that kind of, not to sound too much like a punk, so you guys can make fun of me. You guys can make fun of me anyway.
Again. So this for the audience. Yeah. Once again, for the people who are watching, this guy is a 100% hater through and through. No matter what you bring up, if you love anything, don't tell it to Zahid, because he'll find a way to make it.
Yep.
I was gonna say that I really enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it actually some of the things that Falcon.
But I was waiting to say that.
Some of the things that happened with Falcon touched me and like made me feel
insensitive
sorry.
areas.
I empathize with this character. We'll talk about it next week. F these guys. Fuck this, I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. Done.
But you know what? You know what's messed up about that first episode, man? It made Tony Stark look like a total jerk. We'll talk about that next week too.
Yeah.
Yep, I know exactly where you're going with that.
Bye. Done. Screw you guys. Fucking out of here.
Oh, I love you guys. All right.
Wait, I'm controlling the damn thing. I have to shut it down myself.
All right. Well, we'll be live again about same time next week, and hopefully Sahid's done crying by then. We'll give him 7 days.